And so we want to make sure that that's the way that we're also building online. So when people are messaging, tell us what's right from wrong, if there is any tips and tricks to that, and is there a system we should be following? Is it okay if we're messaging people that we don't know?
Yes, so I think it's absolutely okay to message people you don't know. I mean, how are you supposed to get to know someone if you don't message them? So absolutely, and I know that we touched on a little bit of what not to do. So some things that you could do, which I think this again would help with repurposing, is you could create templates and then what is called batching. So you would take a certain time of your day to batch out templates that you could use to repurpose and send to new people. So for the most part, like again, if we're gonna go in and do like our 5 minutes of research, right, to get to know someone, we can at least have a template, which is kind of our skeleton, which is our core of what we're gonna be sending them, and then just change out little things based off of what we've learned about that person or what we wanna get more curious on. So you could have 3 to 4 templates saved in your notes section in your phone, and then just copy paste. And then just pull out the little things that you want to do. So I think creating templates for yourself in your own voice, so it sounds like you, make sure they're personalized, you add that personal touch, keep it very open-ended, so you're kind of posing the question back on them to answer, but it's going to allow you to be more efficient and to get things out there in a quicker way. So that's how I think that DMs could definitely be used. I have templates, and you can actually now in Instagram, and I think in Facebook too, you can save auto responses. And so you can create responses and save them, and then it just automatically plugs it in. So if you want to reach out to people, you can just save it as an auto response, change a couple of words, send it out, and then you're done. And then I would batch it, meaning you want to take a section of a time during a week or a day to do it all at once. So that way you're not splitting your thought process into, I'm doing this, and I'm checking emails, and my kid's screaming, and da-da-da-da-da. You have this designated time to really focus in on it.
Anything you want to add to that?
I think that, you know, being confident with messaging comes when your profile is set up in a beautiful way so that you know when I'm messaging someone and they click on my profile, it's not total incomplete spam. So when you do message them, they're going to be like, oh, I want to hear what she has to say. I think that that's huge.
I'm glad you said that, because as we were talking about, you know, messaging someone, we have this avatar set up of who we're looking at. So taking a few minutes to look at their profile first, get to know them, not sending this just cold, slimy, used car salesman type. I think that's what you said.
Yep.
But I like how you're saying on return, you know, you guys, how many of you, when you're thinking about who you're looking to bring into your team, you've made a list of what you're looking for in your ideal distributor? It's kind of the same idea of having an avatar.
That's exactly what it is. Make those lists, guys.
And it's so helpful because, you know, if people are looking at your wall, and you've got on your list, oh, I want someone who's self-governed and very motivated and loves people and they look pretty, you know, or they carry themselves well, whatever. And you go and they come to your profile and you're not matching any of that, or you're It Works billboard only. You know, one of the things, I didn't know a lot about social, but I thought if I was going to do business with anybody, I would jump on their social media first thing, and I would see, is this somebody I could do life with, you know, because this kind of business is so much more than just buying a product. And so I really like that. That's not something I thought of before, is making sure you have that profile on point to reflect who you are, so that when you do cold message or start building a relationship with somebody new, that they're going to come look at you and almost kind of check you out, interview you a little bit, and does your profile represent what you want them knowing about you? And again, you know, those 5 highlight pictures, I made sure I had my new little nephew on there, I made sure I had my kids on there, I had something about business on there, because I wanted to see those 5 things that you were just talking about is who I am. So again, there is a whole section in your guide on setting up that profile. All right, I'm having aha moments all over the place.
Yes, I love it. Yeah.
All right, Alyssa, how do you grow your following interaction levels? Let me say what I mean by that as I look here. If they're posting and they're not getting likes and comments to match, what would you encourage them to be doing to raise that engagement?
Chances are, if you're doing that, then you know you have to give love to get love, and I think that that's what's missing is you think that you can just make all of these posts and like everyone's going to be interested or they want to hear what you have to say, but that's where engagement again it comes in. And so I have a goal every single day to be commenting on 50 to 100 people's profiles. And commenting, not just liking. So commenting is like a hug, where liking is just like a hey. And so I love making sure that I'm doing that to, like, I would do 50 that are already following me, and then 50 that they're not in my network yet. And so you have to give that love in order to get it. And I promise you, when you start really engaging, as soon as you start making a post, they're gonna come over and show you love because you've shown them so much.
Okay, so I have to say something about this, because she said this the other day. I was like, oh good, I do that. She's like, 6 words you do that? I was like, nope.
Yeah, you don't want it to just be like, oh, cute, pretty.
No, me, I'm always like heart, like emoji, or I'm like, hey girl.
I'm very thoughtful, you know, so I would be like, wow, I love your skirt. Where'd you get it? Or you look so beautiful today. Like, I'm just really encouraging you. Or even asking a question is great. So if they can be commenting back instead of just like a thank you, asking a question is awesome.
Because isn't it true that if you get multiple comments on one thing, that also increases some of it?
Absolutely.
That's good. That's really good. Okay. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, it's just, engagement is a two-way street. So, you know, there's no engagement fairy that's going to fall from the sky and, you know, give you engagement. You've got to seek it out, and it does take time. But again, like anything that truly matters in your life, which I know your business does, because you wouldn't be sitting in this room if it wasn't, you know, this is just another component. And it doesn't, what's interesting too, is that once you start to take a little bit of time, it's kind of like a hay bale, right? It starts to collect, and it starts rolling, to eventually, you're not gonna have to do it all day, every day, or though it seems, or even 30 minutes a day, because it's going to start kind of picking up its own traction, but it has to start with you. And so I think just remembering that and allowing yourself the blocks, I think helps. It's that limiting belief of that it's so overwhelming that keeps so many people from really taking the time to engage.
So something Alyssa said, and I just want to make it a point here, because I believe as you grow in this business, there's an aspect of your social media that's like an engine to recognize and engage with your own team, to see kind of what they're up to kind of have a pulse on them. But it's also an opportunity to build and grow yourself. So a couple things, because I learned this the hard way. I was commenting and liking on all these It Works profiles and pages because, oh my gosh, so-and-so is killing it, great job, and those are the first. So then all of a sudden, all I was seeing was It Works. That was it. And then I was no longer seeing any of my people on my list that I had not yet had the opportunity to bring a part of It Works. And so I realized very quickly, if you don't set parameters on, I'm going to message and comment on 50 people in It Works, and then I'm going to message and comment on 50 people not It Works. So you got to be really intentional with that type of engagement too, because I got soaked into the It Works way, and I'm all in love with all the juju that you guys are all putting out there, and then I realized it was killing my recruiting because I was no longer engaging with anybody outside of that.
That's a great reminder too, that when we were talking about your ideal client avatar, to remember that you're wanting to engage with people that you're trying to service, right? Because your sell is your service. You're not trying to service your It Works community. You want to encourage them and be a part of their social media community and root them on. But your goal on social media is to really step in to finding those people who need you the most. So I think that that's a great reminder.
Cool. I'm learning a few things. Anybody else learning a few things up here? All right, so I do have one more question for you, Julie. Facebook doesn't like when we copy and paste posts, is what I understand. So what is a good way around this when you have new team members that they're just not comfortable yet, potentially with how to do a post themselves? So they're not making their own posts, so obviously they're using ours. What do you do with that?
Yeah, I think that creating templates is a great way, but then also maybe even doing, again, it's that little education piece, right? Of training these new members of, you know, here's some templates that you can use to give you an idea, or here's some things that you can kind of go off of, but then start encouraging them to think about what lights them up, what excites them, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about interviewing the other team members in your network to really get their thoughts and feelings about how they show up in service and sell. I think that that is such an underutilized way to really figure out how to intentionally market yourself to your audience. So doing that, just taking a little bit of time to really listen to what other people who are doing really good and killing it are saying, and then start to create your own templates. And what you can do is maybe you put something on Facebook and you can copy and paste that over to Instagram, but just tweak it just a little bit, right? You want to make it a little bit more just a little different. It doesn't have to be completely new, but just a little bit different, so you're respecting the different platforms, because your ideal client on Facebook may be different than who your ideal client is on Instagram. So it's keeping those things in mind. And once you learn more about who your customer avatar is, it will be easier to do that.
Can you tell us where we go to find that little worksheet
Yes.
one more time?
Yes.
Because I know I wasn't ready for it when she threw it out there, and I was like hoping one of you guys wrote it down so I can borrow it from you later.
Yes, so it's juliesolomon.net/growth. You can also go to my Instagram, and we have links for it there as well.
I love that. Okay, so we're coming to the end, and don't let me walk off stage. We need to take a let's get social selfie with the crowd before we head out for lunch. But what is one last thing you want to leave them with? Like, if you can just say one more thing, what would it be?
You know, I would just say don't look at what anyone else is doing on social. Like I said earlier, stay in your lane. And as you kind of tap into the social guide and the questions and the tips today, you're going to start really learning a lot about, you know, what your niche is when it comes to building on social. So don't be afraid to really be yourself and put yourself out there and to stand apart when it comes to social media.
Oh, I love that. Stand apart. Mark always says, when the world's going this way, we like to go this way. That's exactly how you should think about social media. All right, what else?
I love that. I think the most important thing, and I love that you touched on kind of staying in your own lane, is that it's so easy to kind of fall into that comparisonitis, right? Of like seeing what everyone else is doing, getting your hopes down, and feeling like you're not enough. But just remembering that you are here for a reason. God put you in this room for a reason. You are a once-in-a-lifetime mega event of the universe. Like, it is your divine right purpose to be here and to show up and to serve. And no one can be you. No one has your unique ideas, your life story, your challenges, your passions, your unique angle in this. So it's not about copying everybody else, or it's not about overwhelming yourself thinking that you have to reinvent the wheel. It's just about you showing up uniquely as yourself, not being afraid to test things out, taking action, and that is what is going to make you uncopyable.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Okay, so a couple things. You guys know what's coming up this afternoon, right?